Speaking of Apple, while we're on Apple, we spoke last week about Apple electric car ambition, and at the time, Apple they reached out to a bunch of different car companies: BMW, Hyundai, Nissan, and
They said Neo. They say he's caught in the Matrix.
who?
Yeah,
Ian?
yeah. Is he? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think he was. I
there
think
he
he
goes.
was.
Yeah, I don't know his Wi-Fi. He gotta pay the price to upgrade his Wi-Fi. So while Ian jumps back on, so yeah, we talked about Apple potentially partnering up with BMW, Nissan, a few different car companies. They was
Hyundai.
they was kind of testing the waters. So today, there he goes, he's back. Today, they announced it was published on a few different publications that instead of partnering with somebody, they're gonna just do it themselves
Mm-hmm.
to avoid any delays because they already had delays. So now we're gonna have just a 100% Apple car, smart car. How do you feel about the smart car? That's gonna be crazy.
I'm if they could do it all over, I think Apple would have made chips on their own from the very beginning, but it was very expensive, all hardware, all software. Um, and it's the thing about entrepreneurship. Like whenever you have a loss or perceived loss, you have to be able to pick up and do things on your own. Um, Even just being around you and Trap and like everybody we know in the ecosystem, Matt, like you have to learn how to make your own content, create slides, edit everything, right? So why should they outsource if they are producing at a higher level than most other companies? And these other entities, Toyota, Mercedes was in talks at one point. They didn't deliver fast enough. It's the thing I talked about at the top of the show. Can you deliver what is needed at time? And to be honest, the thing that separates the companies that are great versus the ones that are not, and the people that are very wealthy versus the ones that struggle, is most people don't deliver on time. So if they can get this done on their own, why should they outsource it to Hyundai or Toyota or Ford or GM? I mean, they had talks with 9 companies.
Right.
No one did anything in 12 or 13 months. It's too long.
Yeah, and I think when we talk about delays, yeah, and it's kind of what we spoke about last week. Yeah, we can manufacture, but I mean produce, but who's going to manufacture? Obviously, they're going to have to build facilities to create these auto plants, and obviously they're creating their own chips. So it will take time, right? We won't see an Apple car within the next year or two, but long term, the long term,
24 though.
right. They're looking at the long term, right? So that's what we got to keep in mind. And like you said, there was companies here that wanted to partner, and the reason why Apple's thinking as partners, like we can get into this right now. We can compete with the Teslas of the world right now if there's somebody willing to partner with us who has the manufacturing capability, right? Who has the machinery to get this done. And so,
well, that's the thing. This is the elephant in the room. Is Apple going to compete with Tesla? Because Tesla, even though it's not a car company, it's a tech company, and they have a lot of revenue outside of cars. They're known for cars, right? So they was on a nice, smooth path. A lot of these companies have electric cars, but nobody, when you think of electric cars, you think of a Tesla.
yeah.
They're like synonymous with electric cars. So now you got the biggest player ever when it comes to technology coming into the space. And they're the best at branding. Say what you want about Apple. Nobody has better branding outside of maybe Nike. We talked about that. They have the best branding ever. They have an unlimited war chest when it comes to money that they can spend. They're going to have the best technology. And their design is going to be crazy. The iPhone, Apple always has great design, sleek. They look good. They have great products. So is this a long-term issue for Tesla?
Biggest competitor that they can ever have. And also if revenue isn't strong enough and they don't get more, I've said since the beginning of Market Mondays, they need an operator like Tim Cook. You need a celebrity CEO who's going to drive the vision, get all the hedge funds and pension funds on board. That's one value. Elon's a pretty solid engineer, but you don't have a person or a team that is like as great of an operator. So a little bit of this is ego too, because Tim and Elon don't get along because Elon reminds Tim of Steve. So it's some of that competitive, like Tim Cook is like Tom
Brady. I'm assuming he's saying Tom Brady. Tom Brady
could be Tom Hanks. That's your man.
Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks.
I mean, you say he's the best actor.
One of. He's one.
He
of.
Definitely is.
No, he's definitely one of the best actors of all time. Shout out to Tom Hanks, and he's also a pilot. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out going
Yeah.
forward. With
It looks like even in the technology space now, if we look at Netflix and Disney Plus, that's what it kind of reminds me of. It's like you got a stable horse in the streaming service. You got a established company who's known for something completely different that is now coming into the space. And they don't have to pass you. They just have to make a dent in your industry, right? And so I feel like this is going to be comparable if Apple comes into the auto industry, because they don't have to take all the customers. But if they make a significant dent with their brand loyalty, long term, right? Tesla is known for, obviously, like we said, it's a technology company, but it's known for the automotives. Where's their revenue stream? Where else is the revenue stream coming from, right? The automotive would just be an addition to what Apple's doing. Tesla, you put a dent in that automotive industry, you're hurting a lot of revenue.
Nah, it's interesting. Like I said, that's what I'm thinking about is Tesla more than anything else.